Noel, are you here? Noel, so strange today. I have to record a video with my son, but I don't know where is he. Maybe he's inside here. So let's take a look. Noel, are you here? Noel, are you here? No, he isn't here. So where he can be? Ah, okay. I think to know where is he. Oh, so let's go, follow me. Ah, my son is here, he's playing Mario Kart. Hey Noel, today we have to record a video together, eh? Okay? Let's go.
Even more. Okay, it's still fine. Thanks. Okay. Let's do it now. Okay. Well, hello everyone. Now you see me for the first time. I'm Sandro. I'm 52 years old. My son is playing Wreckfest. He's 8 years old and he's using load cell pedals and a 50 Newton meter direct drive base from Simagic. And I'd like to talk a bit today about safety and let's say about what I've done to make it possible for him to play with my same setup, with the load cell pedals and with a 50 Newton meter direct drive base. So the first thing I'd like to say is a bit about my philosophy on safety, because in my opinion, many times there's a lot of dramatizing about these bases, which are, by the way, they are dangerous, it's true, you can get hurt. But when I see YouTubers, men who for a dislocated shoulder or an elbow or a broken little finger make dramatic videos, as if sim racing were a dangerous sport. I mean, we're men, we're not little princesses, that's the first thing. And second, I can guarantee you any other sport, whether it's soccer, rugby, tennis or volleyball, you can get hurt everywhere. A rugby player, I think, could make a video every week. One time the shoulder, one time the knee, one time the ankle. Doing sports, you can get hurt. And it's not like sim racing is more dangerous or is dangerous. We must do everything possible to reduce the risks. But anyway, we can't just dramatize things here now. For my son, I've taken some steps to really make it as safe as possible when he drives, but I can't give 100% safety. He, by the way, does artistic gymnastics at a rather high level. And I can assure you, if he were to fall from the rings or the bars while doing a somersault, he would risk breaking his neck. It's happened before, not to him, but to other kids who fell badly and really got hurt quite a bit. So, it's all very relative. And one important thing I want to say is, I'm not here to give advice for your children. I want to explain what I did for my son, to ensure that he can play with the maximum amount of safety. Which doesn't mean total safety, it's the maximum safety that I can provide for him. Okay, just so we're clear. Okay, let's say with the setup. When I built it, which by the way I recycled from other setups that I already had, I have to take into account the fact of finding a way to ensure that both the seat and the pedals could be adjusted in length, the travel, let's say. And so I opted for both the pedals and the seat. There are those rails that are used for car seats. I got these from Sparko and I'm attaching an image so that I can adjust both the pedals and the seat in length. And by the way, it's an accessory that also costs relatively little. First thing, the seat. I can't adjust it in height, so when he plays I put some foam rubber underneath. And the backrest I got from an old car seat. One of those used for children in cars. Okay, now let's address the pedals. The load cell pedals. So the accelerator isn't a problem, it's a non-existent problem because it's soft. Both my son and I can use it. The the brake pedal. I use it really hard. It doesn't move even a centimeter. It's practically a brick and it wouldn't be good for him. So I took the clutch, let's say, sacrificed it a bit for myself. I put it in the middle for him so that he can use it as a brake. What I did, in short, was I had to sacrifice the clutch for myself to give it to him as a brake. And I'm not going to explain too much what I did here. I'll rather refer you to the computer side where I'll explain on screen what I did with my pedals so they'd work for him too. I mean the clutch pedal. I'll send you over there and see you later. Well, now we're on the computer side. I'll show you on screen what I did or how I modified the clutch pedal for my son so that he could use it as a brake. As you well know, clutch pedals have that double click, which isn't good for braking. To brake, you need a more linear movement. So I'll show you on the screen what I did to my pedals. Now, I'm lucky to have a screw here and one here, so I simply moved the spring from here and put it down here. This resulted in, let me show you, before I had an angle of about 45 degrees here, and this angle is what gives you that double click feeling. After modifying the pedal, as you can see here, I have a much wider angle. Now it's an angle of about 90 degrees, and this creates a much more linear and fluid movement. And it's perfect now as a brake. This spring here, I took the softest one I had, and so I found a great solution. It works very well. Again, it works with my pedals. I was lucky to have these two screws. I don't think it's possible with all pedals from every brand. This is just a solution I found for myself, and it works well. Alright, here we are again. Now let's address another topic, which is, let's say, the most important one, safety. Because direct drive bases can be dangerous, especially for a child. But, well, in my opinion, there are 3 steps you can take to make, let's say, everything quite safe. First, decrease the power within the game itself. For instance, right now in Wreckfest, I've reduced it to 40%. And then you need the second safety measure, which is to reduce the forces in the manufacturer's software, in this case Simagic. Go into the software and really reduce the maximum forces. By having these 2 steps, if I have a bug here or a bug in the game, at least I have, let's say, double the safety. I know that more or less. The wheel is always somewhat limited in its force. And the third step, which is, let's say, the test. And you have to do that as parents, sit down for an hour with the game and try the most extreme situations. Now in Wreckfest, I've tried jumps, head-on collisions, side impacts. I've tried everything just to see how the wheel reacts. Anyway, for this too, I'll refer you back to the other computer screen and explain. Let's go over what I did. So I'll send you back there and see you soon. Alright, so let's start with the maximum torque, which is up here on the right. I set the base's maximum power from 15. I reduced it to 10.8 Newton meters. And at the same time, I also reduced the force feedback. I set it to 25%. So with these settings, the steering wheel becomes really soft. Very light. So to give the steering wheel a bit more weight, I went to work on the mechanical damper, the mechanical friction, and mechanical inertia, and I set them respectively to 10, 15, and 15%. This way the wheel, despite having a light force feedback, still gains some body. It becomes a little bit stiffer. the smoothness. So when I play, I usually keep it between 4 and 7, most of the time, normally. For my son, I practically left it at 0 so that you can feel a lot of detail in the wheel. The wheel rotation and also the wheel rotation speed, I generally keep it quite high so that the wheel is very responsive and quite lively to use. So, even though there is only a light force applied, the wheel still remains very active and lively in the sense that it's very reactive. And importantly, I set the feedback details to the maximum so that you can really feel in the wheel let's say the details of the asphalt, the potholes, the uneven terrain, which is felt very, very strongly on the steering wheel. Because I always say, children don't need to have a very realistic or perfect force feedback. They're happy if they feel something in the wheel, some vibrations, that they get a lot of information. The last thing I did also is the rotation angle, this one here. Normally I keep it at 900, but now I've set it to 540 on Wreckfest. Because in my opinion, at least from testing it, it seems better for a child. He has to turn the wheel less, and it's also a little bit more reactive. So these are the settings I made for my son. I'd say there's nothing else to add. So let's go back to the simulator and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Well, we've done everything. I've explained everything to you, but there's still one thing I want to say or tell you. And 1,000 times thank you. I thank you so much because I've received a lot of compliments, a lot of views. And to my English-speaking friends, thank you from the bottom of my heart because you've encouraged me so much with my English, which isn't perfect, far from it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And for my English-speaking friends, I want to tell you something. The first part of today's video was my own voice with my actual English, while the second part is a bit different because I translated the text with artificial intelligence from Italian to English. The voice stays more or less the same, the lip syncing changes a little bit as it adapts. And anyway, it's me, I'm not an avatar, it's really me, it's just that I used an artificial intelligence program that translates my voice from Italian to English. And I did this because my English isn't quite perfect enough. When I have to explain somewhat technical things or make long videos, it would be too difficult for me. So I hope you understand that in my opinion it's easier, and I also make videos faster this way. There have been, as always, those 2 or 3 negative comments, which I don't understand though, because my Simrig isn't beautiful or clean. I could have done many things better, honestly, but what I really want the message to get across is that I recycled quite a lot of things from my old setups. I didn't actually buy all new materials, although I did purchase some, and I definitely added a few more because I was building a larger Simrig. But the materials I have here are almost all recycled. Like for the free bezel, which is nothing beautiful or spectacular. I could have bought it for 110 euros from ROG, but I made it myself. I wanted to save those 100 euros. So it's not perfect, but exactly, for me it was important to also give a bit of inspiration to other people who might want to do something better or something smaller. But I believe that anyway, from the messages I've read, I've inspired some people to do something like this, right? I'm not saying that my Simrig is perfect, I've always said it. It's not very beautiful, let's be honest, but when you sit inside, the immersion is really very, very good. So anyway, I wanted to thank you all from the first to the last, even for the very critical comments, because you always learn something. And I've already received a couple of inputs on some criticisms, and that in the future, let's say, in the future I'll make some small changes to my Simrig because I find some criticisms to be fair, and I understand them too, It's not that I could have done many things better, but I was struck by how many messages and how many views. I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Now you know who I am, what I look like, my son, his face. I didn't show his face on purpose. It's not that I don't know how to film. I did it. I really do not want my son's face to be seen, out of respect for him as well, because he is a minor and he is only 8 years old, which is still very young. So for these reasons, that is simply how things have to be. Okay, until next time, I sincerely wish you all a very good rest of your day and I hope you take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon.